present, and welcome everyone to our 2024's February 1st episode of Beyond the Badge, which is a very special one, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. This is our 24th episode. But I'm your host, Steve Fecto from Talent Development and Learning. I'm joined backstage by my team, Michael Joseph, Khadija Muhammad, and Jessica Rubin, all joining me to help produce this episode along with our Mount Sinai Spotlight Committee. These are the leaders from around our health system. This show represents all of our hospital sites, our ambulatory practices, our many different service lines leaders. And these are the folks that are committed to not just the patient experience, roles in administration, but also the employee experience. So they're the ones who are going to be reading our stories today. 18 wonderful stories. I know my team's going to drop our program for this event in the chat in a moment. 4 of our folks couldn't be here. They're written up in there. You can check those out. But we've got 14 of our celebrants right here, and we're going to share our stories with you today. These stories come from the System Daily Huddle. That was in that opening message. And we thank our colleagues, Joseph Mari, Hillary Bali, and Swati Garg, who collect these stories from the huddle. These are shared by our senior leadership on this daily huddle as they go over how to make sure across Mount Sinai we're having a safe, high-quality day for all of our patients and families and guests and colleagues. And these stories are shared by a leader. They get one chance. Here's my one chance to celebrate some employee who really demonstrates what it means to be an exceptional Mount Sinai employee, a contributor who makes a real difference in the patient experience or the employee experience or in the great work that they do. And the folks we're going to introduce you to today are those single stories that this leader said, this is who I want to talk about. This is the story I want to share. So we've collected them all. These are the stories from December of 2023, and we can't wait to share them with you, many family members, friends, colleagues, and leaders out there to watch. So I said this is a special episode. This is actually our season 2 finale. Now, while I don't have some big cliffhanger to hold you over until season 3 starts up in 4 weeks, we wanted to mark the moment because it means it's been 2 years of Beyond the Badge, 24 monthly episodes. We started with the first group from the Huddle stories of January 2022, and these are the December 2023. And in that time, coming back, for those of you who keep coming back to these episodes, we've shared over 490 employee and team stories. We've welcomed over 5,000 audience members. And I know that number is actually much higher because that's only counting Zoom, unique Zoom entries. Not the many times we have large groups of people watching together. So even many more than that 5,000. Additional 4,000 to 5,000 YouTube views afterwards. And we didn't track chat comments in year 1, but in year 2, we had over 5,500 chat comments. That means you're not just passively watching these episodes, you are contributing to recognizing and thanking and appreciating those stories that we're going to share. So keep it up in the chat, write your praise, share your cheers for all of these celebrants, and keep those reactions fluttering up as we go. Our biggest return audience members come from our leadership group, the leaders who come back over and over again because they're inspired by seeing these stories. And I always like to start with 2 leaders and call them up and invite them onto the stage. So I'm going to look around in my audience here. I know I've got a couple that I'm going to go to. I'm going to start with let's go with Kenneth Long. So I want to introduce Kenneth Long. He's now with the network practices. He's our Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the network practices. Although, Ken, I know you spent 8 years at Mount Sinai South Nassau, so you're going to enjoy our first story is going out to a team at South Nassau.
But we thought it's a great
chance to introduce you and welcome you.
Well, thank you, Steve, very much. It's great to see the South Nassau family of F3 is being recognized as the rest of the celebrants. I have to say, every day I listen to the Daily Huddle. The Daily Huddle could be pretty dry. It's a heavy operational meeting. We talk about all the challenges that we have to contend with every day. And then you hear the heartwarming stories of somebody who's doing the mission of our organization, and it's being shined in a spotlight to the entire organization. It's a reminder it humanizes the work we do. That it's not just numbers, it's just not moving things, it's taking care of people who are in a bad place at that moment. And I think it's very heartwarming to hear those stories and it connects you to parts of this massive organization that otherwise you don't even know exists. So I'm very grateful for all the work everybody does. Congratulations to all the people being celebrated and recognized today. And I look forward to continuing to hear in the huddle all the great stories.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I love the leaders who hear these stories live on the huddle, but they want to come back because they want to see the faces of the people who these stories were about. So we get to reshare them, and now you get to tie it to that face of someone who's out here in the audience. So I want to jump right into it. I know I've got another leader. I want to call on Jane McSood in a little bit, but I want to jump in. Some of our teams need to get back. There's a lot of big teams. You're looking right at the F3 team. So we're going to hold off. I'm going to invite Jane McSood up to talk in a second, but I want to get to some of these teams. I keep watching this F3 team who's ready to go. They're all out there ready. I want to get some energy started right now. So this is out at South Nassau. So I'm going to start with our two big teams because we want to be able to release them. They got patients right in their unit. So I'm going to go to Rob Gonzalez, our colleague from South Nassau. We'll start with our team spotlight, and then I'll introduce our other categories. So Rob, let's hear about this group and how they were recognized by a patient, this patient's story.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. So the husband of a patient who passed away on F3 wrote a heartwarming letter about their experience on the unit. So the husband wrote, "I can still remember the face of every one of you, doctors, nurses, housekeeper, and everyone who showed up to our room. You guys do an excellent job. Maybe you will say that this is just part of your job, but all I can feel is kindness, dedication, and love. This is absolutely what the patient and their family need when in a hospital. Thank you for being on the front line of care. Thank you for the healing touch. And thank you for putting your patients first. Great job, F3.
All right. Thank you, Rob. I know this is a big group. You got to keep panning and we can see everybody. Love the balloons, love the smiles. I know this is it's a difficult story of someone passing, but I love the quote from a family member. All I can feel is kindness, dedication, and love. So I'm looking for a spokesperson out there, with this whole unit being appreciated. How would you describe the culture that you provide every day for patients and the family experience that you're so proud to bring this feeling to your patients? Who can share for that?
Honestly, we as a floor itself in a unit, we all work as a team. Every single one of us, whether it's mobility, PCTs, unit clerks, we all help each other one way or another. And with grace on top of that, we all try our best to uplift one another. If one's feeling down, another one's bringing you up. It's actually an honor to be here on this floor. I've only been here a couple months and I've learned so much, and I've made such a wonderful relationship with every single one of my team members. And I couldn't be prouder to be an F3 team member. So, and I feel like everyone here should know that too. And I feel like I've probably said it to them multiple times. But I love my unit and I love who I work with, and they're amazing. And I feel the same with every single one of them. I couldn't be me without them.
Yeah, for everyone to applaud. I think, surprising they put you on the spot, having just started here for 2 months, and they're putting you on the spot. But really, who better to comment on what it feels like to come in to a group and be able to speak from the heart on what it feels like to be a part of it. It's so fresh for you, just like it is for all these families who come to this unit. They're scared. They don't know what to expect. It's it's an emotional time. And you're bringing this culture, this feeling to them. And that's why they recognize the entire team, the feeling they got just being in your space. So absolutely incredible. We congratulate you. Thank you to everyone in this room that we're seeing.
Thank you.
And we're so glad we got to see you and celebrate you today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Congrats, F3. I want to check in. I'm hoping we have our New York Eye and Ear team. I'm looking at Diana. Diana, do we have our New York Eye and Ear team set?
That's great. Yes, I'm here.
They're here. Is your New York Eye and Ear team here as well?
Yes.
Oh, I think I see them. We got to get that virtual background off. I see them out there. Here we go. There we are. Love it. This is the ophthalmic technicians. As I'm going, this group sent me slides with individual photos. So as Christine's reading the story for this team, I'm going to pop up some images of the group. So Christine, take it away.
Thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure to be here to recognize our colleagues. The team of ophthalmic technicians at the Eye and Ear faculty practice at New York Eye and Ear exceeds our expectations every day by being compassionate and empathetic to our patients. They recently demonstrated the very definition of what teamwork is when we needed all hands on deck to complete a renovation project for the practice. The team worked in sync to ensure patient safety. They made sure equipment was protected, and they put all the exam rooms together with such grace and enthusiasm that it is worth recognizing. Their agility and wayfinding was essential during this time. We're beyond fortunate to have this team of outstanding technicians as we thank them for all of their dedication to the practice, the patients, and to the values of Mount Sinai.
All right, thank you, Christine. So I hope I had equal time there in my brain, timing out everyone's photo up there for this group. And I want to go back to see the full group that's there being celebrated. And I got to talk to this team. You know, they recognized you during this time, that this was a moment where it took extra agility, extra teamwork to work through during this current state. But can someone share about what this team atmosphere is like every day between this group of technicians? Who can speak to that?
I can talk, Steve. I entered this back in December when we were just about to finish the renovation. And I was very inspired by, what Christine just described. But honestly, I'm inspired every day by this team because they're amazing. And it's an honor to work with them. They're compassionate with their patients. They put all of the noise aside and then just come with the greatest attitude. They're the best. We're very, very lucky to have them.
That's wonderful. Diana's the senior director. Diana wants someone to chime in on that. What's it feel to be a member of the team?
You guys want to belong in?
We have fun here every day. We come in, we work as a team, we work together, and we just have fun and we make the most of it. We spend more time together than we do outside of here. So we just have fun with each other because we see each other more than anybody else. So we just work together and make it work.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I also like how I'm still not used to Zoom. I like looked down like this to see you and your head was cut off.
We're in a cramped space.
But it's clear you can't have great teamwork if you don't really value the people that you're working with. And to have those close relationships is what really allows you to perform so highly as a team. So congrats to you all. I'm so glad we got to shine a spotlight on you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to jump into also our next section is appreciation from patients. So these came from patient letters, patient stories that were shared. These are some folks that are eager to get back to their patients. So that's why we start right here. And I know Viviana, we're going to jump in your program. If you're following along in your program, Viviana Martinez is anxious to get back to her patients. She's from Mount Sinai West. We want to share her story from West. We're going to have Andres come up and read about Nurse Viviana Martinez.
Good morning, Stephen, and good morning, everyone. So I'm really excited to recognize Viviana. A patient wrote to appreciate Viviana Martinez saying, quote, "My wife and I just had our first baby at Mount Sinai West. It's important to share that I was diagnosed with chronic anxiety as a child and have had a history of devastating flare-ups during major life changes. Knowing my track record, I was terrified and certain that it was going to be a rough experience. However, thanks to Viviana, my experience could not have been any more different. The attention, the care, and unwavering support that she showed us as our nurse completely changed our trajectory as parents. I have never in my life experienced that level of service that she provided, consistently anticipating any questions, requests, or needs that we had. From what I've heard, one of the scariest moments is feeling desperately unprepared when it's time to go home. My wife and I faced the same moment with nothing but confidence and excitement, which was due entirely to the education, inspiration, and motivation that we received from Viviana. We are forever grateful to her for completely transforming this entire experience from a potentially traumatic emotional experience to a wonderful, love-filled journey that we will never forget. Congratulations, Viviana."
Yes, thank you, Andres. Very, very nice. And Viviana, it's a reminder to me that having a baby is not only a joyous event, but an incredibly stressful and anxiety-filled event, not just for the patients that you're caring for, but you're also caring for the family members. So just love to hear you talk about that. How do you so effectively support families through the full range of emotions they may be experiencing in the care you're providing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's, as you said, a new experience, especially for first-time parents. I try my best in the time that I have with my patients to get to know them as best as I can and anticipate any kind of questions that they may have, explain what we're going to be doing for the day, what their night might look like, and just creating a space where they feel open to talking to me, going through their fears, asking any questions that they may have. I think it just comes from a place where you give them a space to feel comfortable with you, and then you create a relationship with the patient from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you. And you know, what I found so powerful about this letter is that they really shared their vulnerability. That this is not just another day and another patient that's anxious for everyone. This person came in with some history, and you were able to understand that and help them have the complete flip of the experience they anticipated. So I just love this story. Thank you, Viviana.
Thank you so much, Steve.
All right, Andres, we'll have you back soon for some more. We're going to go back in your programs to Alipio Esguerra next. Alipio is from Mount Sinai Hospital. I'll have my colleague, God's favorite Guillermo, Director of Patient Experience out at Mount Sinai Hospital, bring up Alipio. All right, let's take it away.
All right, congratulations to everyone. And Alipio, I'm so excited to celebrate you. We got to meet Alipio in person, and you know, your humility and your patience really stands out. So here's the story. A patient wrote the following to express appreciation for clinical nurse Alipio Esguerra. At my Remicade infusion yesterday, I was assigned a nurse I had never encountered before. All the nurses there do a fine job, but this nurse was so distinctively conscientious, informative, and polite that I wanted to let you know how impressed I was. He explained the purpose of all the pre-meds, explained every procedure as he was doing it, inserted the IV needle perfectly the first time with not a hint of pain, took special care to help me in and out of the room when I had to visit the bathroom, and followed up himself every time the titration rate had to change instead of leaving it to another nurse. As I said, all the nurses do a fine job, but there seemed to be an extra dedication to detail in Alipio's approach, a very earnest courtesy and helpfulness that I thought deserved special commendation and a message to you, noting what a fine job he did. And I'm going to share also, Alipio's nurse manager gave us a little more to the story, saying that this was a patient that had returned to MSH care after trying out a different care center, and he pulled her to the side to let her know how much he loved it there. So congrats.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, God's favor. And I see your manager's in the chat cheering you on as well. Now, Alipio, you know, the patient comments on how there seemed to be an extra dedication to detail in your approach. I'd love to hear from you and how you respond to that observation that they had. What is the extra dedication to detail that you focus on, that you try to bring to the patient experience?
Okay, so hello, everyone. As a nurse specializing in therapeutic infusion, I extend my extra dedication to my patient by treating them as I would treat myself. Having experience being a patient, I understand the daily health struggle, anxiety, fear, and pain they go through. These personal insights allow me to provide their needs and offer emotional support, and I strive to be there to them when they need me the most. Believing that compassion and quality nursing care alleviate their anxiety, fear, and pain, I approach all my patients with the same level of care and empathy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alipio. You ended with the word I was thinking throughout your message, empathy, that understanding what they're going through, understanding their anxiety, that was throughout. And then you had that perfect button, empathy at the end. It's exactly what I was thinking as you spoke. And that really does make such a difference in the care that you provide. And that's why it is a Mount Sinai value to provide empathy and like in what you said, in every patient encounter, every patient experience. So thank you. And everyone, I got to shout out, if you're on Mount Sinai Daily, I spotted Alipio in an additional article. So look for that, a lengthier article. He was highlighted in publication, Stories of Excellence, that you can find on Mount Sinai Daily. So congratulations, Alipio. Great to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mom.
Okay, and one more in our patient appreciation from patient section. We're going to go to the Network Patient Support Center, where Shakira Gardner was recognized. So we'll bring up Shakira, and our colleague from the network practices, Rebecca Asmussen, is going to read this story. Hi.
Hi, thanks, Steve. One of our patients asked to speak with Sharika Gardner's supervisor to discuss their exceptional experience. She and her partner had both been struggling with recent health issues and in getting appointments together so that they didn't need to pay for 2 separate taxi rides. They were beyond grateful that Shakira was able to accommodate them with patients near one another and stated the following: Shakira is a saint. She was so patient with me and she listened while I shared some of the difficulties I had recently been going through. She was there quietly for me while I cried and fell apart. She wasn't just kind, her words were like a warm hug. It was like I could feel her warmth through the phone. The patient continued by sharing how Shakira was extremely compassionate and made her feel heard and cared for, then ended the conversation by thanking us for having someone so special on our team. We feel the same way and want to thank Shakira for always striving to give our patients a remarkable experience. We are so happy to be able to recognize her today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca and Shakira. I love that the story started with just trying to get appointments together. And it goes into moments later, crying on the phone from the care that they're receiving. And I just love the quote that your words were like a warm hug. So I got to ask you, how do you create that experience? How over the phone that you're able to bring such compassion and empathy that you can hug a person with your voice and they feel that?
Well, I just, try to treat people how I want to be treated. I also have a elderly grandmother, who I sometimes have to take care of or do things for. So you just have to put your mindset in. Well, I put my mindset is like, okay, this could be my grandmother, my mother. I want somebody to treat them with respect, care, and concern. So.
Well, I love it. And thank you for sharing that. I think that mental image that really prepares the response that you're going to have, and starting every day with picturing how you want to be and who you're doing it for, and having a face in your mind for the faceless voice that you're hearing just brings out this love and this warmth that you're bringing to your patients.
Thank you.
Continue giving those warm hugs with your voice. Really love it. And congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Shakira. That wraps up our appreciation by patient section. This episode is so perfectly 3 in each category. And the next category is called our Stories of Excellence category. It's where we put together all the stories that were these one-time events. Some special occurrence or event took place where a leader was so thrilled about the story, how it's such a great example of what makes Mount Sinai a special place, they wanted to share this story. So we're going to go first as I jump down to Stories of Excellence. Tyler Geegan, the next 2 are at Morningside. So we're going to bring Tyler up, our Director of Patient Experience out at Morningside, to share the next 2. We're going to start with Francisco Diaz from Mount Sinai Morningside Ambulatory. Hey, Francisco.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Yes, excited to recognize Francisco. So here is our story. Nurse practitioner Francisco Diaz in our Mount Sinai Doctors Medicine multi-specialty practice is attentive and compassionate with every patient he encounters. In a recent example, when Francisco recognized a 96-year-old patient who was not able to be seen due to her extreme lateness, Francisco took the time to reassure the patient that we would find her another appointment and inquired as to what she needed, all while he was running behind himself, meeting with his own panel of patients that needed his support. Francisco agreed to see the patient himself so she would receive the care that she needed. Francisco is often seen navigating complex patients and has the skill to recognize verbal and nonverbal cues that indicate that a patient may be feeling overwhelmed with their diabetes diagnosis and management, and it's truly inspiring to see him in action. Thank you, Francisco, for your empathy, your compassion, and your diligence. We're so fortunate to have you as part of our team.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. And I know your whole team was, I was copied on some emails yesterday, Francisco. Your team's excited to be here and to cheer you on and very proud of you from this story. And the theme I heard multiple times in this story was your skill at recognizing patient cues. And I'd love to hear you talk about that. How do you keep yourself in the moment every day and to be observant of the cues our patients are giving about the care that they need, about the experience they're having, that prompts you to intervene and make that connection?
Yeah, hi. It's a great honor to receive this recognition from my team because although nobody should like to work, we have to do it. And the worst thing is when you like to work, but worse than that is like the people that you work with. You have nothing to complain. You shouldn't have nothing to complain. But my background is gerontological nursing. before doing diabetes management. And so I am used to see social problem masquerading as medical issues and the other way around as well. So that requires that you have to see not just a disease or a blood level. You have to see how people respond, how people walk, how they get dressed, how they ambulate, because that's all the things that are going to give you certain clues that they're not going to provide you themselves, and you have to find that out and so that requires that you be skillful at individualizing care and attention. And diabetes actually happens to be a disease as well that requires some degree of individualization of care. And so that's what I bring to diabetes care, and that's how I notice some distress sometimes just by the way that they talk or how they avoid certain things, is that you get to that.
Thank you, Francisco. It is so interesting to hear you talk through your nursing expertise. And, we would see, or an observer would see your interactions and what you're talking about. But to hear the background that you've been watching every little detail to get this deeper understanding of the patient and what the patient may need and what questions to ask, to hear you walk through that expertise of what you think was really incredible. And I think we all really benefited from hearing that process. Thank you.
And also, I should say that it's not being mentioned at all here yet, but our hospital is one of the first hospitals to be considered as an age-friendly health system, which is a qualification that means that we aim to provide excellent care to older adults. So that ties into how I approach my work as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. For our audience who doesn't know, Mount Sinai Hospital is #1 in geriatrics in the country. And we were the first in New York to have a geriatric emergency room, especially for our elderly patients. So lots of great work doing. And thank you, Francisco, for being a part of that, the care for our elderly. All right, thank you. Tyler, we're going to stick with you. Our next guest is Gustavo Lopez in this section. He was recognized by Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital leadership. Hey, Gustavo.
Hi, Gustavo. Okay, yes. So a colleague shared this story to recognize Mount Sinai Morningside transporter Gustavo Lopez. A patient had a patient had organized a birthday celebration for her mother, who spent every day here caring for her in the hospital for more than 2 months. Her mother was Spanish speaking, and all of us in the party were monolingual English speakers. Gustavo queried us as we passed by with balloons and a cake, and he joined the party, leading our song, offering interpretation for the impromptu speeches that were made, and spent time talking with the patient's mother. He returned sometime later, having made that connection, and offered additional support. Witnessing his care and compassion alongside his willingness to meet the needs of the moment outside of his role, I felt so much appreciation for the opportunity to know this person as a colleague. We are so proud to celebrate Gustavo for going above and beyond and making this patient and her family feel incredibly special while celebrating this occasion.
All right, thank you, Tyler. Gustavo, I'd love to hear from you about, this is a great story, inspiring story, and I'd love for you to be able to share your experience during this moment. What did it mean to you to be able to provide this emotional and memorable moment for a patient and their family?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the recognition, and thank you for sharing my story. And all I gotta say is that I'm super happy that I was part of that special and emotional moment that made a positive impact in somebody's life. I will never forget that day. Thank you all and have a blessed day.
All right, thank you, Gustavo. And I'm glad it'll be a day that you hold in memory in your heart of the great work you're doing and that connection with that family, as much as it will be something they remember forever, to make those moments are forever moments, and you provided it for them and for you. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Gustavo. And thank you, Tyler. We're going to go on. We have one more story in this section. Rebecca, I'm going to call you back up. We're going to the network practices. We've got a great story for Britney Russell that we're going to share. Hi, Britney.
Thank you, Steve.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Britney. So recently we had a patient in our fluoroscopy practice who was not feeling well after her procedure. Britney Russell was working in internal medicine that afternoon and was asked at 5 p.m. to hand off to a coworker who was overseeing the patient. Britney chose to remain with the patient and at 5:15 contacted Dr. Esses to inform him that the patient was still not feeling well, to which the doctor advised that we call 911. Britney continued to remain with the patient until the ambulance arrived, provided all clinical information to the EMT, and did not leave until the patient was on her way to the ER. We want to thank Britney for staying late to ensure the safety and well-being of this patient. Way to go, Britney. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, Brittany, of our 6 Mount Sinai values that we have, safety, I don't know if people realize this, safety is always listed first. We always make sure safety is before all the other 5 values that we share. And you put safety first, as said in this story. You put it first for this patient. I'm wondering if you can speak to that. Can you speak to the commitment to caring for patients that you feel that drives the type of compassionate care you provided this day and that you provide every day?
Well, I didn't feel comfortable with leaving a sick or injured patient anywhere. So I would stay all night if I had to, but I did. Dr. Esses, I know that he was busy in the hospital, so he couldn't come over. So I said I would just stay with them until EMT come, and I will do it again.
Yeah, well, you're shrugging it off like it's nothing to you to do, but to have that purpose, that sense that like you're a person who will not leave someone when it's time to go. If they're sick, they're hurt, they need someone to support. And for our patients to know that about you and about your department and about Mount Sinai, it speaks the world. And that is a very special attribute. And I know we all thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brittany. Congrats. We're so glad we got to see you and highlight you today.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. So before we go into our next section, which is on appreciation that was submitted by colleagues, these are the peer-to-peer appreciations. I do want to remind you, there are 4 stories of people who couldn't be here. One, is in a patient area. There was in the patient category. It was for patient coordinator Jennifer Marmalejos of OBGYN at the Mount Sinai Hospital faculty practice. We talked with her. Her team celebrated her in the department meeting. She couldn't be here, but a patient described her as the model of the way healthcare should be. You can read that story in there. She even responded to it and said that while it feels wonderful to be acknowledged, it feels even better to know I made such an impact on a person. You never know what someone's going through. Being kind can go a long way. So check out that story for Jennifer in there. I'll highlight a few more as we go, but I want to get into our appreciation by colleagues section. A lot of these a little shorter, they come from star messages. That's something that anybody can do. Anyone can submit a star to a colleague. It's very easy to do. And some of these are so great, so inspiring. Leaders can't wait to share them on the huddle. We're going to go first to Mount Sinai downtown. I have Myra Sanchez standing by with Liza Lundgren from Chelsea, the Blavatnik Family Chelsea Medical Center. Glad to see you two together. And Nydia, let's have you read right next to you to Liza.
Hi, thank you everyone, and congrats to Eliza. A coworker submitted the following appreciation for Liza, one of our Chelsea Oncology social workers. I've had the opportunity to see Liza engaging with the students, and it's really inspiring. One of the things that make Liza an especially excellent teacher is that she's able to make room for the student to engage in a task without the need to control the outcome or insert herself, so that she encounters moves in a particular direction. She's an excellent listener and creative problem solver. She's always willing to jump in and help whenever she is needed, and is a true model for kindness, empathy, and partnering with patients.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nydia. And Liza, it's so nice to hear how and why a colleague sees you as a role model, to get into that detail. And I wonder if you could describe, let's hear from you. They see you as a role model. How would you describe the model social worker you strive to be every day with your patients?
Well, sure. Thank you so much for the recognition, and thank you, Nydia. I'd say that I really strive to treat patients the way that I would want to be treated if I was a patient, or if a loved one was being treated. Much like many of the other people have been honored. I also try to make sure that I'm meeting patients where they are and leave any judgment or bias behind, so I can really hear what their needs are. It wasn't very long ago that I actually was a student here at the Chelsea Blavatnik Center. And so I had great teachers and role models here. And so I try to keep that at front of mind when I'm thinking about opportunities for students. I work with to learn from. It's nice to go through the evolution of being a student, then being an employee, and now being someone who helps train new students. So supporting oncology patients can really have a lot of challenges on its own for anyone. And I'm honored to be able to help the patients we work with and then also help our students navigate those challenges too.
That's wonderful to hear. I didn't know that element of the story of you starting as a student, and now here are your students praising you and how much they appreciate and value the insights you have. And I'm so glad to hear that you found a home at Chelsea where you started as a student and must have loved the work there and the patients you were working with there and are still connected to it.
Definitely.
And a great message, meeting them where they are and being open and putting your biases behind and just focusing on them in that moment. Really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liza. All right, and thank you, Nydia. We're gonna go. I hear West, hold on. We're looking for Melenis de la Guarda. She's not here just yet. We're keeping an eye out for her if she can make it. So hang on, Andres, to that story, and we'll keep an eye out for her. I'm gonna go, although Andres, come on up anyway. You're the next one. We've got our supply chain leadership recognized. This is the whole system. Supply chain looks around at their staff and shared a story for a Mount Sinai West employee, Jason Rodriguez. So welcome, Jason, and Andres, let's hear this story.
Absolutely. So Jason Rodriguez is a senior materials manager at Mount Sinai West and has been recognized by a pair of recent star recognitions. The first reads, quote, "The NICU requested supplies to be sent to a patient they transferred to Mount Sinai West. We did not have any drivers available as this request was made after the end of the business day. I called Jason from Mount Sinai West, who was almost home, for guidance, and he decided to head back to Manhattan from the Bronx, pick up the products from Mount Sinai Hospital, and personally deliver them to Mount Sinai West. This is the epitome of patient care, and I would like to recognize him for going above and beyond for our patients," end quote. The second states, quote, "Jason has done an amazing job working with the EMS team to get our supplies organized. He has shown amazing creativity and teamwork to ensure that the EMTs and paramedics have the tools they need to care for patients. He has been there every time EMS has needed anything," end quote. Congratulations, Jason.
All right, thank you, Andres and Jason. So this is from your leaders, and they say these are examples that show you recognize how essential your role is to support our top priority, patient care. And I'd love to hear you talk about that. How does keeping that connection in your mind and in your heart to the patient help drive the great effort and the commitment you have for your work?
Well, for me, it's just ensuring that nurses and doctors have what they need. I would like to think of it as maybe my family members are here. So for me, family means everything, and I will go above and beyond. So that's pretty much why patient care is a top priority and gives me motivation here in Mount Sinai West in my role. I would also like to thank my supply chain team for this. This is not just on me. This is everyone through friends and colleagues. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. I know supply chain is an incredibly tight-knit team and really support each other. They celebrate each other. So you have lots of colleagues out here cheering you on and celebrating you. And honestly, I could have put this in the stories of excellence section because of that great one-time story of getting that call, turning right around, coming back. But you do it so often, you're getting all these star messages. We put you here to share multiple stories. So congrats again, Jason, and thank you for sharing your insights into your work. All right, again, we'll keep an eye out for Melenis. Another one that was in this section who couldn't be here, we have a mobility aide. Veronica Anderson was recognized by a colleague. She's out at Mount Sinai, Queens. Her story is in the program. A colleague appreciated her and credited Veronica, her commitment and her upbeat demeanor to making the difference in gaining trust with a patient. And that story is written out in our program. And our final section with 3 more stories. There's 2 more who couldn't be here. So there were 5. 2 more employee spotlights. You can read about Don Cardone. He's our Senior Director of Emergency Management. He was recognized by his leadership in system emergency management. And there's another one from Health System Facilities Leadership. I spoke with William Gonzalez. He's the Senior Project Manager of Planning, Design, and Construction. Couldn't make it, but he was really thrilled and honored to be recognized. His story is in there about the work he did on phase 1 of a rehab project at Mount Sinai Morningside. And he responded so nicely, said he had observed the exceptional care being provided by the team on that rehab unit. And he's most proud to know that the new rehab unit will help that entire team provide even better level of service to their patients in a new state-of-the-art space. So he's very proud of that work and really proud that it's making a difference to patients. So read that story in our program as well. But we've got 3 more to share with you. I'm going to go out to Brooklyn. I've got Katrina Bravo standing by to read a story about Anatoly Fain. He was recognized by pharmacy leadership. Again, this is a system leader who could have talked about anyone, went to Brooklyn and spotted Anatoly and wanted to share this story. Okay, Katrina, you're on mute to start.
Sorry about that. Happy to present Anatoly Fain, our staff pharmacist, who's been very instrumental in Mount Sinai Brooklyn's Meds to Beds program, as well as in transition of care efforts. While his contributions are ongoing, his recent example demonstrates his dedication to patient care. Anatoly assisted in obtaining discharge medications for one of our veteran patients who had a lapse of prescription coverage. Anatoly went above and beyond to not only speak with the provider, but also social work, the patient, and the nurse coordinating the bridge supply for all prescriptions from our pharmacy. He then organized the patient's insulin to be filled out at our Meds to Bed pharmacy free of charge for the patient. These actions exemplify Anatoly's dedication and empathy for our patients and the profession. We are fortunate to have him as part of the Mount Sinai Brooklyn pharmacy team. Thank you, Anatoly.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Katrina. And Anatoly, so your leaders noted this is an example of you going above and beyond for your patients and cited your dedication and your empathy as something that's a key attribute of yours. I'd love to hear you talk about that. What would you say drives you to provide this above and beyond care in your work with patients and families?
Hi, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Katrina. I mean, I've been a pharmacist already for 13 years. Almost 14 years. I've been an employee here for 17 years. And I gotta tell you that, thank you. The idea of creating this program, we're the pioneers of Meds to Bed in Brooklyn, has exponentially increased the services we can provide to our patients. And it does make a huge difference for a lot of the patients. And you can see the reaction that they get when somebody sits down, talks to them about the medications, goes over the medications, hands it to them when they're going home, saves them a trip, make sure everything's covered, everything's there. And also it shows the pivotal role the pharmacist can play in the care of the patients. Yeah.
Really wonderful. And that's why it's in our spotlight section, which is to spotlight some programs, some projects, some great work, and bring it to the light to others. This is a new program that you're pioneering, which is part of our vision, pioneering spirit. You know, we're always looking to the future at Mount Sinai. What is next? What more can we do? So thank you for being a part as a veteran pharmacist here at Mount Sinai. And congrats on your 17 years. It's exceptional to be a leader in always seeking that improvement and to be able to share that you're getting the great results you hope for and seeing the difference it's making is inspiring. I love it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Anatoly. All right, and thank you, Katrina. We've got 2 more stories for you. Next, we're going to our Clinical Command Center. Leadership in this system Clinical Command Center recognized Donna Mangle. We're going to bring Donna up, and I'm going to have my colleague Celicia Montgomery, who's part of our committee who covers corporate areas, is going to read this story. Hey, CC, and hi, Donna.
Hi, Donna. Hi, Steve. Happy February, everybody. So, Donna Mangle's commitment to excellence has not gone unnoticed and is truly commendable. As a clinical program manager, Donna's dedication to the department, her colleagues, and most importantly, our patients, has significantly contributed to the success of our team. She leads by example, consistently goes above and beyond expectations, and sets the standards for others to follow. Her professionalism and proactive approach to handling challenges have been instrumental in creating a positive and productive work environment. Donna's contributions have not only impacted the team, but have also enhanced the overall success of our organization. Donna's hard work, unwavering dedication, and commitment are truly inspiring, and we are fortunate to have her as a valuable member of our team. Thank you, Donna, for your outstanding performance, and congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cece. And Donna, your leadership recognizes your commitment to excellence. And I'd love to hear you describe that commitment. What is the commitment you make in your everyday work here at Mount Sinai and in the Clinical Command Center?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm extremely thankful for this opportunity and recognition. Excellence for me is, the passion that we're in nursing for and part of this team. It's an outstanding system to be a part of, and I'm fortunate to be part of one of the best teams at the command center. And I couldn't have done it without all of them. We work well together. We're one big group and we have each other's back. My dedication to our team and our patients and the work that we do is what continues to drive my excellence and motivates me to go above and beyond.
Well, thank you, Donna. I love to hear the team pride about being the best team in Mount Sinai. Cece and I work together, so we're partisan to TDL, but I love to hear that pride in the work, and I hope it's pride everyone has in their areas. And I'm loving seeing in the chat, we're seeing it's a system role. We got Mount Sinai Brooklyn saying thank you for your help and work with you. So I'm sure there's people in our audience who didn't even expect to know people other than who they were celebrating, and they see you and can't wait to cheer. So congrats, thank you. I'm so glad we got to shine that spotlight on you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. And we've got one more to go. We're going back to Mount Sinai Hospital. This time it was ambulatory leadership at Mount Sinai Hospital who recognized Myra Sanchez. So I'm going to have God's favor come on back. Welcome, Myra. You're our big finale of the season 2 finale. Here we go. Pressure's on for the
pressure is on.
Well, thanks, Myra, and God's favor. Let's share Myra's story.
Congratulations, Myra.
Thank you.
Myra is a compassionate medical office specialist at one of our school-based health centers. Myra is responsible, organized, punctual, a team player, and always willing to help. She works diligently and efficiently to obtain consents and increase utilization, all while managing the office flow with ease. She cares deeply about the patients and is creative in making our school-based health center an environment that is welcoming to children and families. Recently, Myra graciously offered her support and welcomed the new asylum families to the school. She assisted them with completing forms and went above and beyond to Google and print walking maps from their hotels to specialty appointments. We would like to thank Myra for being compassionate, empathic, and showing genuine care and commitment to excellence. Yay, Myra.
Yeah, thank you. I'll add some creativity in there, printing the maps and getting them ready. So, no, Myra, I'm going to take a little more time because you're our finale. What I love about doing this show so often is that I meet people in roles that, even though I've been here for 23 years, I'm still learning about roles that I say, oh, wow, we have Mount Sinai people doing that. And I learned through this about these school-based health centers and these roles of employees within the schools. And I'd love, I'm sure it's a new idea to a lot of our audience. So can you tell us about the patients you serve in a school-based health center?
Of course,
what drives your commitment to caring for them with such compassion?
So thank you guys all so much for this great acknowledgement. And also now realizing that Mount Sinai's had a school-based health center for over almost 30 years. We've had a school-based health center, which is in this community and like in 5 schools. And I'm extremely proud to talk about that. I've been here for 24 years at my school. And even though they're school/patients, most of these kids have their parents now themselves. So now I'm basically taking care of their children. So it's basically a big form of a family here. We're not only Mount Sinai employees, but we're also that extension of medical care for them here inside the schools, which they value because it's not something that many schools do have. The importance also here that our school-based, our principal, he emphasizes is on how important we are. So it's not only that we're a Mount Sinai base, we're also part of a DOE school community that they just include us all. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to see that someone that I knew at 5 is now 20-something years old, and now I'm taking care of their kids. So they're like my own.
Myra, I love it. And, our mission speaks to, we provide compassionate patient care. We advance knowledge and the research we do, but it's very specifically, we serve the diverse communities we serve and focused on
Yes,
that.
it is. Yes.
And this is the incredible example of that. We are in communities, and
Yes.
your role is right in there, right in with communities, with families, with like the generations of families.
Yeah, with generations of families, yes. And with some people that really can get medical care. And luckily, we are here to facilitate those things, because many of these asylums don't have insurance, don't have things. So these are things that we actually could do on site here. So it's a great extension to the hospital. So
Well, it's
kudos to
wonderful to
them.
hear you speak with such pride about it. Thank you for providing that insight to many of our audience who this may be a new idea and concept too. And that's why I encourage you all to keep coming back. You'll always meet new roles. We've shared 490 stories. We've got 43,000 stories we could share of employees. So Myra, 24 years doing this work. That's right to applaud off the bat, and then showing the examples of the great work you're doing and the empathy and compassion and the creativity that you provide to the students there is just.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. And thank you, God's Favor. That wraps up season 2, episode 24 of Beyond the Badge. Story was shared this morning to start February. We had a story shared in the huddle that'll come to you not even in the next episode. We just finished yesterday, was our last story of January. We're going to collect those stories from January 2024, and we're going to bring them to you 4 weeks from today. On February 29th, we get a special Leap Day episode, which is exciting. It's exciting for me. We'll come to kick off season 3, a whole new year of 2024 stories to share with you here on Beyond the Badge. Keep coming back. We hope you enjoyed today. Congrats and thank you to all of you who we were able to honor today, not just for being here, but for living Mount Sinai's values, our mission, our vision that led to your story being shared on the huddle. We can't thank you enough for who you are and the culture you bring to Mount Sinai. Thank you all, everyone. Have a fantastic month, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Great day, everyone. Thank you.